Hi, my name is Isaiah Smith. I graduated from Hanova in 2021. I finished DP here. I actually joined the school in 2018, so I only got 3 years here, but it feels like I've been here for forever because this is my home and everything. Currently, I'm studying in the Netherlands. I'm about to finish my Bachelor of Arts in European Studies, and I plan on getting a Master's in Education right after. Where do I even start? I mean, yeah, the one probably that we always remember the most is something called Curry Thursday. So our class, and this really kind of started in year 13, we would always order curry every Thursday. We never stopped the tradition, and it would always be something we would look forward to. And yeah, one of us even gave a speech about it as our graduation speech, and it's something that even when we meet up now, 4 years later, if it's a Thursday, we always have to get curry together. Another one of my favorite memories was probably when I volunteered to help there was a primary soccer tournament, and my dad and I coached a team, and they were all kids from Hanova. We were Hanova Shadow. That was one of my favorite memories because we went on quite a nice winning streak, and it always felt really good every time we won. Another one was probably playing Among Us together. So during the breaks, our whole class would get together and play Among Us, and we'd always yell at each other and accuse each other of doing this or doing that. But there's so many memories, I don't even know where to start. Personally, I had a really good experience here, and while obviously there were small things I would adjust, I wouldn't say there's too much I would change. One personal thing that I wished, and this was more in DP, I would have started my projects earlier because I feel like, especially with my math and history, I actually found really interesting topics that I was really passionate about, but the problem is because I procrastinated, I didn't do as good of a job as I thought I could have. And to this day, I did my math IA about how to optimally shuffle cards, and to this day, I still use the information I gathered from that study. For when we play card games, I always know how many times to shuffle and how to shuffle the cards. So. I mean, it's a small school, so in essence, it's a family too. And for a lot of us here, like, this is our only community here, so the teachers, yes, they're teachers, but at the same time, they kind of feel like mentors. And for me, especially in DP, like, I had 3 teachers teach 60% of my courses. And if every day you see the same teacher, and it feels like you really get to build a really good relationship with them. And yes, it is about school, but also, like, you can talk to them if something's going wrong. They're very understanding, and they genuinely want what's best for you. And yeah, it felt like even now, a couple years later, I can still ask teachers for advice or their opinions on this or that, and honestly, it's just a community. And they definitely pushed me. I sometimes needed to be pushed in school, but I haven't entered the workforce yet, so I don't know about that. But I will say, it wasn't necessarily the academic rigor, it was more the quality of the work they wanted from us. Like, they wanted high quality papers, they wanted high quality drafts, and that was something that I think at the time was frustrating, but looking back, especially now in a very academic university, I've realized I've been really prepared, they prepared me really well. For instance, like, doing the EE, I had to do my thesis, but I've already done an EE, so I kind of already have an idea of what it's like to write a really long paper. And then, like, all of the IAs, I would say the IAs that I had to do were much more difficult than all the papers I've had to do in university, with the exception of my bachelor's thesis, which was 8,000 words, but my IAs were easily harder than any work I've done at university. So. Probably actually, and this is again kind of going back to school, I really feel like they taught us properly how to research here and how to write papers, and I cannot stress how big of a help that was for me. Because when I went to university, some of the kids were struggling with how to write a paper because they've never written an academic paper before, but I've already done dozens at Hanova, so that was really helpful for me. And also just all the presenting we had to do, it made me feel very comfortable when whenever I have to give a presentation for class, I know what to do, I feel comfortable with it. And also I feel like being here, being in an international environment, it really kind of helps you get different perspectives on everything, and it helps you be able to talk more openly with people, even people you disagree with, because you already have experience talking with people from different cultures. And so going to university, it's allowed me to make friends with people with completely different backgrounds than myself. And yeah. I already said this about my math IA. It's not really an important impact, but it's something that I will consciously, I'll say, hey, I did a math project about this in school. Trust me, I know how many times to shuffle these cards. That's just a small niche example, but I would say my history IA especially, I think it really taught me how to write a paper, and because I scored well on that, it gave me a lot of confidence in how I write papers, and I feel like I've got a lot of experience because of that. It's kind of changed everything, to be honest with you. So when I came into Hanova, I already knew I wanted to be a teacher, and at the time I said I wanted to be a PE teacher. And even by the time I graduated, I'd say I still said I wanted to be a PE teacher, but having worked very closely with my geography and history teacher, I kind of started to really develop a passion for social studies. And because the one thing I remembered was I would come into class, and sometimes we would our class topic could very well be something we read in the news about. So we kind of had a whole discussion about it, and then we related it back to some geography concepts. And in my final paper, I remember I didn't use textbook examples that we were supposed to use. I actually used examples that I'd read from the news a couple weeks ago, and I used it in my paper, and it all worked out. But kind of going back to what I was saying, I really developed a passion for social studies, and it doesn't feel like it's necessarily school. It feels like it's really related to what you're seeing in the news, and that's why I really would like to be able to teach that to my students and help them see that everyth's kind of connected. And even with history, it's not just learning facts, it's not just memorizing dates, it's actually everything. History's a study of economics. What were the economics like back then? What was the political situation back then? What was the social situation back then? And kind of just, I really developed a passion for it, and I really want to relay that to my students, and I feel like that kind of made me had a heart for teaching social studies. And then as I went to university and I started studying PE, I really realized that this wasn't what I was passionate about. And so after a year, I decided to change and to pursue European studies with the hopes of eventually becoming a teacher. And kind of going back again, 5 years from now, I would like to have my master's. I'd like to have at least a year or two of teaching experience, and ultimately I'd like to be teaching at Hanova again, because this is a great community, and I've gained so much from the school, and I want to give back to it. So. I mean, it's no secret we really value academics. That's the one thing that Hanova's really strong in. We've got really high grades, and also I feel like the support is really good. So all the teachers I've known, all the teachers I've interacted with, they're here for you. You know, they're here to support you. They want the best from you, and they'll push you to do your best. And that's something I appreciated, and I feel like none of the teachers I know would be content with me getting a low grade. If they thought I could do something better, if they thought my friend could do something better, they would push us, and that's something I really appreciated. And also, I think something too is we work really hard here, but we also, I'm gonna say play hard too. Some of my favorite memories, like I said, we're playing Among Us in the break. So we would finish a mock exam, and then our entire class in DP would get together and just yell at each other for 15-20 minutes during lunch about a stupid video game. But then also I remember after school we'd all play soccer together, and that was really bonding. And I feel like it's everything. They really encourage everything. It's not just school, it's not just sports, it's not just hobbies or this, it's everything put together, and I think that really prepares you for university, because when you get to university, if you're just studying, it's not going to be good for you. You need to have fun, you need to also learn how to relax. So, and I feel like there really was a sense of accomplishment. When we did finish an exam, when we did do well, it always felt really encouraging to hear back, and I felt like it was kind of like a nice feedback loop. So, and yeah, if I could give any tips, if you're in primary school, I'd encourage you to just read books. You don't think about studying textbooks or all this stuff. That'll come in the future. Just read just enjoy reading, read books, and then that actually will build up a really good vocabulary for you, and you get to have fun doing it. Because so I actually met my wife here at Hanova. We met in high school. One thing, the way she learned English, and her English is amazing, the way she learned it was actually just by reading books, tons and tons of books, and that really will help. So if you're in primary, I'd encourage you to read and just speak. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, because we all make mistakes. And if you're in MYP, again, you hear all the DP students come back and tell you about how hard it is. That they're exaggerating. It's not that bad. I remember DP as some of the best years of my life, so it's what you make of it. And yeah, just keep learning, keep focusing on school, but also just enjoy what school has to offer. You know, if you want to play sports, join a team. If you're into one of the ECAs, join one of the ECAs, and just have fun doing it. If you're in DP, yes, you do have a lot of work, but it's actually not that bad. Like all your other classmates are going through the same thing. So like, spend time with them, like really build up a community. I remember in my final year, I loved going to school. I would go to school to see my friends, my girlfriend at the time. It was amazing. And so for me, I really enjoyed school. So it's what you make of it. I'd really encourage you to just really get to know the people you're with. Go spend time with them outside of school, go do other things with them. Don't just talk about school, because if you really have a good relationship with your classmates, it's probably the best support system, even better than having teacher support, because you guys are all going through the same thing. So I've already been to Hanova, I think 3 or 4 times in the past 2 weeks, because I was just waiting for the moment school opened so I could come and visit. And it's been amazing coming back. Hanova, I mean, I owe everything to this school. I met my wife here. My best friends are from here. A lot of my best memories, even with my brothers, are from here on the soccer pitch. Different campus, and just a lot of my core memories are here, and this place is a really special place in my heart. The school's only been open for a week and a half, and I've already been here 3 times. I would come a 4th time if I was still here, but I have to go back. But just, if you're here, really make the most of it, because when you leave, it's going to be bittersweet. You know, it's exciting to start a new chapter, but you're really gonna miss it here, because it really feels like a family. And so I'd encourage everyone, teachers, students, make the most of your time here, because when the time ends, you're really going to miss it. So.